Before you take your seats, there will be a rendition of the Lord's Prayer by Mr. Nathan Richards, which will be followed by the invocation to be said by Senator the Reverend Dr. David Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bow your heads.
Father, we stand here this morning, the humble people, thanking you for your abundant grace, mercy, protection, and faithfulness showered upon this island, Barbados. We thank you for your love towards us for the past 50 years of independence. Indeed, this is our Jubilee year. We do not take it for granted. We thank you, Lord, because we recognize we could not have made it this far without you, without your faithfulness, your guidance, and your direction. Continue to bless our nation with honorable political governance, with very sound education, good manners, love and respect for each other. Save us, Lord, from the illegal gun play, the use of drugs, the violence and crime, the discord and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from the many evils that affect our society. Fill with the spirit of wisdom those whom in your name we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace in every home. Blessed with health and strength, even in his absence, His Excellency, the Governor General, also our Honorable Prime Minister, the Chief Justice, President of the Senate, the Cabinet, the Opposition Leader, and all members of Parliament. Bless them with strength and wisdom. As we gather here today for this 4th Diaspora Conference with the theme, One Nation, One Family, celebrating 50 years of independence, shaping global citizens, we release the wisdom and unifying presence of the Holy Spirit to hover over this atmosphere and to breathe upon the proceedings. We thank you for the safe arrival of each and every one in this room, those who have come from right here in Barbados and those who have come from the diverse countries of the global diaspora. We give thanks for their individual lives, the many gifts, their talents, resources, and remittances used in contributing to the building of our society. Continue to strengthen and bless the work of their hands as they toil in the many places across the globe, truly manifesting your word which states, in the sweat of thy brow, you shall eat bread. It is you, O Lord, who determine the times and exact places where we should live. May we continue to lift our eyes unto the hills from whence cometh our help. Our help comes from you, O Lord. In times of prosperity, fill our hearts with thankfulness. And in this global economic instability, let us not lose faith in your unfailing providence. You are the God who provides. David said, "I was young, nor am old, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread." Barbados will continue to strive and to progress. It is also you, O Lord, who calls. You have called many Barbadians here from their respective homes in foreign lands and gathered them unto this land. Grant them your divine guidance as some seek new professional connections, even in this gathering, and strengthen the cords that already bind as others inquire into the origins and familiar roots. Indeed, you are a God of restoration who will make all things new. You are a God of the past, the present, and the future. Help us to learn from the past, those things that influence our present, in order to plan for the future. Let us not look back, or let us not look at geographical divisions, but bind us in respect, dignity, service as we proceed. Let us stand as many people from diverse backgrounds, but as one Barbadian family, one people, one nation under God, whether black, white, or Indian. May these 3 days be filled with the awe-inspiring presence of God, and may it be very informative, educational, strategic, and nation-building. I want to him who is able to do much more than we can ask or imagine according to the power working inside of us. Be all the glory, be all the praise, be all the power and majesty. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the blessed Holy Spirit. Bless this dear land, Barbados. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. The formation of a diaspora can be articulated as the quintessential journey into becoming, a process marked by incessant regroupings, recreations, and reiteration. Together, these stressed actions strive to open up new spaces of discursive and performative post-colonial consciousness. A quote from O'Queen in Waysworm. The Right Honourable Fundell J. Stewart, QC, MP, Prime Minister of Barbados. The Honourable Marston Gibson, Chief Justice. Senator the Honourable Maxine McLean, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Senator the Honourable Dr. Esteban Suku, Minister of Labour, Social Security and Human Resource Development. Members of the Cabinet of Barbados. Members of both Houses of Parliament. Members of the Judiciary. Members of the Diplomatic Corps. Permanent Secretaries and other heads of department, Government of Barbados. Heads of Barbados's overseas missions. Presidents and members of the Barbadian Diaspora Associations and Organizations, sponsors, exhibitors, participants in the Barbados Network Consultation 2016, representatives of the business community and civil society, fellow Barbadians and friends of Barbados, specially invited guests, members of the Royal Barbados Police Force Band, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Donna King Brathwaite, and it is truly a pleasure for me to serve as the Master of Ceremonies for this, the opening ceremony of the 4th Biennial Barbados Network Consultation, popularly known as the Diaspora Conference, under the theme, One Family, One Nation, celebrating 50 years of independence, shaping global citizens. An iconic event on the calendar of activities to celebrate our nation's 50th anniversary of independence. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the official welcome, I crave your indulgence just to share with you a bit of information on Mr. Nathan Richards, who in wondrous voice rendered the Lord's Prayer not so long ago. He is an avid lover of music and the performing arts, and has dabbled in many things from acting to dance. Nathan is a member of the Myriad Singers of Barbados and the Wesley Singers of Barbados. He is currently a student of sports science at the University of the West Indies KFM campus. Ever so often, he may be found plying his trade at concerts, weddings, and funerals, either by way of his melodious voice or his trusty flute. Ladies and gentlemen, let us show our appreciation for this talented young Barbadian, Mr. Nathan Richards. Senator the Honourable Maxine McLean has been Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade since November 2008. As Barbados' top diplomat, she represents our nation in the international arena with distinction, calling on her 17 years' experience as a university lecturer and as a business consultant in strategic interventions. As a community leader, Minister McLean has donated much of her time and effort to the development of the local credit union movement, as well as to entrepreneurs, especially those in the small business sector. Minister McLean currently serves as chairman of the organizing committee for the Barbados Network Consultation biennial meetings, and in this year of our 50th anniversary of independence, as chair of the planning committee for all of the iconic events and activities in the celebratory calendar for this year. She firmly believes that through this network consultation and other worthwhile interactions among the members of the diaspora, Barbadians and friends of Barbados are provided with the opportunity to share ideas, solve problems, and build partnerships. It is my pleasure to invite Senator the Honourable Maxine McLean, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, to deliver the welcome remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The Right Honourable Fundell Stewart, QCMP, Prime Minister. The Honourable Sir Marston Gibson, Chief Justice. Her Honour, Senator Kerry-Ann Eiffel, President of the Senate. Cabinet colleagues, members of both Houses of Parliament, members of the Judiciary, members of the Diplomatic Corps, permanent secretaries and heads of departments, heads and representatives of Barbados' overseas missions, presidents and members of Barbadian diaspora associations and organizations abroad and in Barbados, sponsors, exhibitors, and participants in the Barbados Network Consultation 2016, representatives of the business community and civil society, members of the Royal Barbados Police Force, members of the media, friends, fellow Barbadians, and of course, friends of Barbados. I extend a warm welcome to you all. I trust that everyone has recovered from the proposed festivities. I am delighted that you have taken time to join us this morning for the opening ceremony of the Barbados Network Consultation, BNC 2016, the 4th Biennial Diaspora Conference. This signature event is an expression of government's policy to embrace Barbadians across the world and to involve them in the development of our country. Our objective is to establish and nurture the bond of family and friendship between nationals residing at home and abroad. This year, the BNC is being held as Barbados celebrates its Golden Jubilee. So, at a time when we are reflecting on 50 years of nationhood, we have selected as our theme, One Family, One Nation, celebrating 50 years of independence, shaping global citizens. This theme is intended to convey the messages of harmony, progress, and promise. In embracing this theme, we have organized a number of events, which we hope will engage you for the next 3 days. I will highlight but a small selection. As many of you should recall, the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Frondel Stewart, has asked us as a nation, as we celebrate our 50th anniversary of independence, to reflect on what we have accomplished and consider what we should strive for and what we should avoid as we chart our future course. It is intended to include, of course, in focusing on that, the substance of our deliberations over the next 3 days. And this, of course, in focusing on those issues, will allow us a level of introspection and reflection, and of course, celebration of what it means to be a Barbadian. To that end, we have included in our program, as a first event, a video presentation and interactive session, the presentation titled, The Barbados We Know, Love and Cherish. This would allow us participants to dialogue with the Prime Minister and some members of Cabinet. In order for us to move forward, it is important to know who we are and where we have come from. To help us in this quest, we have included in this year's program, again, a session on genealogy. It is intended to expose participants to the rudiments of tracing their family's roots and history, and we expect that persons will be inspired to get to know who they are. I believe that a visit to the genealogy fair and the archives will heighten curiosity and expand the notion of genealogy beyond naming of family and identification of ancestors. Very importantly, the history of Barbados cannot be separated from sugar and rum. Barbados is the birthplace of rum, and in some places you would see documented as Barbados is where the rum comes from. This fact, of course, has given us a special place globally, and the reputation of our rum is one of great significance and prestige. We are always exploring in this conference creative ways to give exposure to our products and services on the international market. And I was very happy to agree to an offer by a young Barbadian to introduce to Barbados a concept that he has fleshed out, a rum cafe exhibition. It has brought together all of the rum producers in Barbados, I understand. And that is an excellent feat, because I know that competition is sometimes seen as more important than collaboration. And so we're very happy, and I anticipate that you will enjoy that exhibitor's booth. We must, in this 50th year of independence, look forward to the next 50 years and beyond. And therefore, attention to our youth is critical. Thus, this year, we have gone beyond sessions to have a program running for the entire length of the conference, the Youth Interactive Forum. And the name Interactive Forum is intended to be just that. It is not an opportunity for our young people to engage in a very passive way, but to engage very effectively and interactively among themselves with Barbadians from the diaspora who have much to share. And I'm happy to say that we have been able to bring home or encourage to come home and share some highly talented Barbadians. and therefore I look forward to that interaction and all that will flow from it in the future. It is also intended to ensure that we are able to harness the innovative potential which resides in our youth. And I can tell you that many among us and in the diaspora argue that innovation is tied very closely with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as we call them, the STEM subjects. But we cannot draw a dichotomy or see a dichotomy between science, as described by STEM, and the arts. And therefore, for a rounded young person who wishes to encourage innovation through the arts, the recognition of the synergies or the nexus between STEM and the arts will be played out. We are able in this session, of course, to highlight the successes of Barbadians in the business of film, and I would want at this time to indicate that in that session, which is open to all participants, of course, we will see the trailer of a film written by a Barbadian young woman, Claire Ince, produced by her husband, a young Trinidadian, and which was recently premiered in New York and will premiere in theaters on Friday, the last day of the conference. She wanted to be here, but she could not. It is a film called Basilby, and if you know any of the dialect or the lingo of Trinidad and Tobago, it means confused. And without giving too much away, it is about a young woman who happened upon a musician, Marshall Montano, who starred in the film, and she became totally Basilby. It is one that has had over 1 million hits on its website and so on YouTube and all of those things that we know constitute the social media. And as well, we will have a full film show. Philanthropy, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is an essential part of the connection between the Barbadian diaspora and Friends of Barbados. And therefore, it is absolutely essential that we pay some attention to that in terms of addressing the challenges that are posed to the beneficiaries and the donors, and the necessity for shaping an enabling environment to ensure that there's integrity, there's efficiency and effectiveness in giving and receiving, and thus we will focus on that. I do not intend, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss every single item on the program, but what I did do was to offer a short synopsis of some of the critical events. I anticipate that for the 4th time, we will have an excellent engagement of Barbadians at home, and I can say to you that this should be streaming, and so you can advise your relatives and friends who couldn't join us to capture some of the next day's activities. It is my intention, therefore, having piqued your curiosity with that narration of some of the events, to simply say, please enjoy the conference, please take advantage of our Barbados market, our Bajan market on the outside. Many of our entrepreneurs and young business people have demonstrated their great talent and skill, and I look forward overall to an excellent conference. Once again, let me extend to all of you a warm welcome. I wish you an enjoyable and beneficial 3 days of discussion and collaboration, and most importantly, some very serious concrete outcomes. Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you, Minister McLean.
How are you, CBC?
Ladies and gentlemen, as you look around the room, this auditorium, you simply cannot miss the impressive artistic expressions mounted on the walls. The artwork pays tribute to the Panamanian diaspora as we celebrate Panama Day 2016. Permit me, therefore, to introduce the artist. Ms. Jacqueline Caroline Hines is a Barbadian artist, poet, and teacher of visual arts and English. A former student of the Foundation School, Ms. Hines has studied art at her alma mater and several other local and overseas institutions, including the Barbados Community College, the Earlston Teacher Training College, BIMAP, the University of the West Indies, and Union Graduate College. Ms. Hines is a descendant of Barbadian grandparents who contributed to the building of the Panama Canal between 1904 and 1914. As such, her visual art is focused on evoking the memory of the unheralded contribution and experiences of the workers who lost their lives during the construction of the canal, and in particular, the more than 20,000 Barbadians who also died there. Ms. Hines has exhibited her work widely across Barbados and overseas. Her body of work comprises sculpture in wood and metal, oil and acrylic paintings, photographs, a play, music and poetry. A truly well-rounded artist, she also represented Barbados at Carifesta. I not only invite you to view her pieces on these walls, but also to visit her booth in the foyer and to make a purchase. Do give her a round of applause, please. Ms. Jacqueline Caroline Hines, the artist. And as we continue to enjoy the talents of our diaspora artists, I wish to introduce you to someone who has worked tirelessly behind the scenes for the hosting of this, in preparation for the hosting of this conference, in addition to his myriad daily duties. Philip St. Hill has been a public servant for the past 35 years and has been a Foreign Service Officer for the past 20 years. He currently serves as Chief of Protocol. Some of us are well aware that Mr. St. Hill is also a veteran performance poet, a dramatist, master of ceremonies, and a comedian with over 30 years' experience. As a poet, he writes on human and social interest subjects, but always with a tinge of humor. Even though he is performing official duties at this ceremony, Mr. St. Hill is asked for and has been granted permission to wear his artistic hat for just a few moments. And now to deliver his poem written for Barbados' 50th anniversary entitled Celebrating 50, What We Want. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Philip St. Hill.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, and good morning all. For several years, every year, I've written a poem in tribute to Barbados' independence, and as you heard, this one this year is particularly in respect of our 50th year and motivated by something that I'm sure you will get to find out during the course of the poem itself. We celebrated 50. I'm most delighted to be. Bajans from everywhere joining together to mark our golden jubilee. We relish this occasion. We plan to make a fuss. We want everyone to know the many facets of Barbados. So don't let nobody stop you. Don't care what them even say. We started this journey in '66 and we plan to go all the way. Now everybody asking what we want for this birthday. Whether we can go out to dinner or just go in the park and play. Some want to know if we're traveling and how much money we got to spend. If we're doing things alone or if we plan to invite a friend. If we're taking a vacation or going on a cruise. They're asking so many questions, to be honest. They got me confused. I tell them I'm not certain. We might just do a bit of all. But what they don't know is that I'm focusing on the Prime Minister's national call. Now we asked 3 pointed questions, the answers to which we must provide. And we got to face with reality, we just can't run and hide. I contemplated upon them carefully, so I got some responses for him. So I look around and I observe so that I could answer him properly. What are those things, he asked us, that we got and must try to keep? Well, here's my answer, Prime Minister. I beg your permission to speak. The first thing we must remember is the value of our human resource. The people must be our main focus. We can't vary from that course. Equally, the sense of national pride must be guarded under lock and key. That and a strong work ethic must remain with us permanently. And you see that concern for your neighbor that seemed to be slipping away. We got to grab that with both hands, make sure it stays okay. We high levels of health and education must not be allowed to dip. We must keep them high up in the sky, them wings we cannot get. We must maintain honesty and integrity and let the bribers continue to be vexed, because their money ain't moving me from the bottom of the corruption index. Taking care of the environment must always be characteristic of we. Practicing green technologies using the sun, the wind, and the sea. Our embrace of the vulnerable must never be off the list. Helping the youth, the poor, the elderly, we must always be a country like this. Our long-standing social welfare that we got in this country still must be guarded constantly, like how some people just guard a will. The long-standing reputation of smiling faces and hospitality must continue to be extended to every visitor to this country. And in the foreign relations, let me keep standing tall, punching above the weight, as they say. We don't have the luxury to fall. Mutual respect with fellow nations, we engage in them one by one. We being friendly to all of them, but we ain't being satellites to none. And last but by no means least, let me keep relying on God. He's the one who brought us this far on the many paths that we trod. We must keep him central in our lives to be assured of prosperity. He's been doing it for over 300 years now, so we can't desert him. But the things the Prime Minister said we had lost, I'm going to list a few, to see if we can recapture them, whatever else we do. We manners that go on missing. Good morning, thank you, please. We have to send out a search party to find the rat that ate that cheese. Taking care of we elderly, we must get back to doing that well. Respecting and protecting them and stop turning the casualty into a death. We values and we morals that we now seem to have on chill. Let's stop them from slipping further and further like the road down a hill. Our renowned spirit of excellence must move from dull back to bright. We can't let our teeth carry that away like the sun is doing the produce at night. So as we seek progress as a country, every citizen must be part of the lift. I can't think of anything better as a 50th birthday gift. Now the categories of things, let me get to the category of things that the Prime Minister said we must in a hurry lose. I can think of a few we need to dump faster than women just dump our shoes. The first thing I must mention, because this is my number one, let me stop turning Barbados into the Wild West with gun after gun after gun. And I so vexed with all this violence, with the shooting and killing so far. The only place we should be shedding blood is at the abattoir. And you see this social media scandal mania, wherever it is found, must be sent straight to the cemetery. Let me keep all them departures on the ground. And this attitude some developing, but always wanting a free ride. Let me banish this welfare mentality and replace it with ambition and pride. Maybe we be constantly reminded and accept with firm certainty that the only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. And let me change up with diets. Let me leave out the unhealthy stuff. If you listen to your stomach carefully, they tell you enough macaroni pie is enough. We need to get back to ground provisions. We need to exercise some more. Let me kick NCDs and obesity right up through the back door. And this ugly illegal dumping that leaving the landscape in a mess. Stop that practice immediately or get a dust and fill up a dress. So Mr. Prime Minister, I understand where you're coming from. How you thinking we could succeed? Not so much by getting what we want, but by pursuing what we need. Think of self, but also of country, each one doing his or her bit, so that Barbados, though small in size, will be a big international hit. Then let's celebrate our island on this her golden jubilee. Let's join hands and show we love Barbados, whether you use DPB or D. With a pledge of full inclusion, let our national interests pursue. All hands on deck, every citizen. We can't do it without you, or you, or you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip, for that inspirational commentary. Another round of applause. As you know, we are joined by a number of Barbados associations from within the diaspora. And so permit me to list a few of them. We have representatives from the Barbados Associations of Philadelphia, from Manchester, United Kingdom, from Tampa Bay, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Washington, D.C. and Maryland, USA, Toronto, Canada, California, USA, Melbourne, Florida, USA, and of course from the Umbrella Association of Barbados Organizations in the United States, just to name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the members of the in attendance today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the representative of the diaspora who will deliver remarks on this occasion. Mr. Charles Critchlow grew up here in Barbados in the village of Vineyard in the parish of St. Philip, where he was raised by his grandparents. He left Barbados 30 years ago at the age of 21 to live in England, settling in Manchester. Charles has been a committed public servant working in law enforcement for 26 years with the Greater Manchester Police. He graduated from the University of Manchester with a master's degree in criminology. In 2009, he was elected president of the United Kingdom National Map Police Association, an organization that represents over 15,000 members throughout England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. He served for 4 years in this capacity and has spoken internationally on a range of policing and social issues. He is actively involved with the Barbados diaspora community in the United Kingdom and is the public relations officer for the Manchester Barbados Association. He is married and has 2 teenage daughters, both born in Manchester, and who are presently attending this conference. He is currently planning for his eventual retirement back in Barbados, hopefully in the not-too-distant future. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Charles Critchlow, the diaspora representative of Evening Ministers and
Thank you, Master of Ceremony. Very, very good morning to everyone, Prime Minister Stewart, and all distinguished guests, Senator McLean. I bring warm greetings from the National Council of Barbadian Associations in the United Kingdom and from my own association in Manchester. I'm really, really honored, actually delighted to be doing so in this, the 50th year of our independence. It's really great to be among the global Bajan family. One nation, one family shaping global citizens. What a theme. Let me say right at the outset that we in the diaspora, I think I speak on behalf of all the diaspora communities, let me take that liberty, when I say that we welcome the continued support of government for this important diaspora network consultation process, because it is a process. We believe that the commitment towards this initiative, it sends a really, really important signal of inclusion of the diaspora community into the affairs of the island. And an island that we in the diaspora, care passionately about. We want you to know that we are paying very, very close attention. And like many of the other diaspora communities around the world, we in the United Kingdom are very, very well informed about issues that relate to Barbados. I think sometimes the fact that we're not here, we tend to sort of pay even more attention. That's not always appreciated. Throughout our vast network of associations in England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, we're able to access information and to stay connected to what's happening here, particularly through social media, or the revolution of social media. It really is causing a coming together, a connectedness among Barbadians. And I would say really that most importantly, through family. I mean, I'm here for one of the really good events that I attended over the 3 weeks was a family reunion up in St. Philip. And that was really, really excellent because we got to meet family that we never really knew we had. So it's through events like that, actually, that we were able to try and make that connection, to strengthen those bonds. Let me acknowledge the work of one of our associations, the Birmingham Second Generation Family and Friends Association. They're on tour here in a very, very large contingent. And I'd like you to join me and give them a really special acknowledgement. I think that the work that they do, and the work that many of the diaspora communities are doing, it's a really great example of what we ought to do more of, as the Prime Minister has invoked us to focus on. Of course, the Barbados High Commission in London, under the leadership of Ambassador Hewitt and Deputy Wiggins, are working very, very much in tandem with the National Council and many other networks. They host regular events that help to engage and to inform us and to keep us connected with what is happening here. A whole host of events are taking place across the United Kingdom this year to mark the 50th. And we're grateful for the support of the government through the High Commission. And I'm really, really pleased that the High Commission have made it their business, made a point to try and support as many of these events as they possibly can. In my own home city, Manchester, which is home of one or maybe two of the world's famous football clubs, maybe two. The Caribbean Carnival this year is entirely dedicated to the marking of the 50th anniversary. So rest assured that the Barbados flag is flying extremely high across the United Kingdom for this 50th. Of course, we honor our heroes and sheroes, and this year, let's not forget, was the 200th anniversary of the Buster Revolution, which started in my home parish in St. Philip. And we held events in the United Kingdom to mark this occasion. And the message really, the powerful message to our young people is that we have never been and should never be simply passive observers of our history. And as the Chief of Protocol emphasized in the beautiful, inspiring poetry, that our destiny really is very, very much in our hands. And I'm pleased that Senator McLean mentioned the focus on STEM and made the connection between STEM and the creative industry. I think that's we can't emphasize the importance of that enough. Because if you look at the music industry and sport, there is a whole science and a $1 billion and £1 billion industry behind sport. So it's not just sport and singing and dancing. And I think that was a really, really excellent point, and we should emphasize that. We in the United Kingdom, we have an event, a number of events, but one of our premier events held in Coventry. Every May, it's called A Little Bit of Whim. And we especially want to reach out to the creative industry, to the business community here in Barbados, to get involved for our mutual growth, because we believe that there is a well of untapped potential to be had by doing so within the diaspora. In my conclusion, I just want to say that despite the impact of Brexit, of Britain's departure from the European Union, the Barbadians in the United Kingdom, and I think I can say so on behalf of other diaspora communities, remain staunchly committed to this island, staunchly committed. The conference, the debate around Brexit was very much fueled by fear-mongering and a good measure of xenophobia. But perhaps one of the unintended consequences, if there is a silver lining, and I'm a positive person to be found, is that many second, third generation people from the Caribbean are now paying much closer attention to the question of identity, the duality of citizenship. Where do we belong? Who are we? And I would say that the commitment to this network consultation offers a very clear answer to those questions. And therefore I really welcome the genealogy workshop that was mentioned by Senator McLean earlier on in her remarks. And it's something that I'm very much, and our contingent are very much looking forward to participating in. So in conclusion, I want to end with a very positive message of encouragement by stating that what we're doing over today and the next couple of days, I believe is much more important than it was even at the inception of this consultation many years ago. And that if we stick with it, I believe that we will have a good vision for the future of our nation over the next 50 years. So let me depart by saying one nation, one family. I bless you all. I wish you all a very successful conference. Thank you, and I'm extremely looking forward to networking, because it's not always about what's happening within the workshops, but in the networking and making those connections with people. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Charles Richville, for sharing your thoughts and for expressing your commitment to the diaspora on behalf of our colleagues. Another round of applause. I'm certain that you will agree with me that art has always been at the center of our culture, transposing our ideas and values, while also providing that clear reflection of who we are and where we have come from. And so I am happy to introduce to you this next performance, a dance by the Hyman's Creative Workshop entitled Nation Dance. The Hyman Creative Workshop is a community-based organization celebrating 38 years as one of this island's most popular performance entities. The group uses culture, mainly popular theatre and dance, as an instrument to stimulate community reflection and promote togetherness. They have used this cultural product not only as a tool for education, but also as a means of generating income, which enables it to be self-sustaining, while also promoting development within its community. The organization's dynamic and committed leadership, operating in a flexible structure, has contributed significantly to the success of the group. Concentrating mainly on Afro-Caribbean folk, they have gained regional and international recognition, from the graceful Trinidadian Malay and Cuban Orisha to the traditional Barbadian Landship and the powerful West African Zaraka. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage to perform the dance, Nation Dance, the Hyman's Creative Workshop.
Almighty God, we commend into thy hands our nation and people at this time, beseeching thee to guide us in the paths of righteousness and truth. We pray thee to give to our leaders wisdom in all things and the realization that one day they will give account to thee. We pray for those who control industry and commerce and those who educate men's minds, that they may be mindful of thy laws of truth and honesty. We pray for the children of our land, the citizens of tomorrow, that they may grow up in the love and fear of thy holy name. We humbly thank thee for all the ways in which thou hast blessed and guided us unto this day, and we pray that under thy continued providence we may be worthy to be called a Christian people. May we keep our national flag unsmeared by any dishonor. This is a very proud moment in the history of the people of Barbados. I am glad, as I'm sure that the members of my government are equally glad that we were born at a time when we could see this eventful day.
Barbados,
The blending of the arts and youth, an energetic performance from the Barbados' Pinelands Creative Workshop. Barbados' future looks bright, don't you agree, ladies and gentlemen? And you can keep the applause going for the rest of the day. I think there's simply no Again, thanks to the drummers and dancers of the Pinelands Creative Workshop as we celebrate 50 years of independence and our diaspora. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Fundell J. Stewart, QC, MP, is a distinguished scholar, legal luminary, and astute politician. Our Prime Minister understands the importance and the significance of the diaspora for the continued development of our Barbados. He has articulated that the government of Barbados attaches high importance to the Barbadian diaspora, wherever that diaspora may reside. He continues to recognize and to remind us all of the enormous contribution made by Barbadians on the diaspora in the actualization of our aspirations as Barbadians, and has pledged to embrace them fully. As Prime Minister of Barbados, he has demonstrated his government's commitment to treating to the Barbadian diaspora as, and I quote, an integral part of the economic, social, and cultural development of Barbados, end of quote. In addition, at the regional level, he has demonstrated strong commitment to regional integration and has served as the CARICOM chairman, the Caribbean community, that is. So outstanding has been his regional and international efforts that the government and people of the Republic of Guyana, as part of their 50th anniversary of independence celebrations, have bestowed on him their second highest national honor, the Order of Rogan. And they have done so in recognition of his support for the rights of small island and low coastal developing states, his advocacy for CARICOM's demand for reparations for the citizens of the Caribbean region, and his contribution to the reduction of the impact of climate change in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, I assure you that we will be treated to a thought-provoking and inspiring address, and so it is my pleasure to invite you to stand and welcome our featured speaker, the Right Honourable Fundell J. Stewart, Queen's Counsel, Member of Parliament, the Prime Minister of Barbados.
Thank you very much, Master Service. As I listened to your introduction, I turned to my right to inquire of a man who should know, the Chief Justice of Barbados, just to certify that nothing you were saying was defamatory. I should like to, before I get into what I have to say, thank young Nathan Richards for the dulcet strains, the Nightingale notes in which he rendered the Lord's Prayer this morning. Obviously a very great talent, and I want to assure him that he carries with him my very best personal wishes. I would like to thank and congratulate the Pinelands Creative Workshop for their energetic but exquisite execution of that dance just now. I think clearly organization, and they're deserving of our highest commendation. And of course, there's Phillipson Hill, for what he is and what he is not. You can credit partially to my account, since I taught him from first form and secondary school. Whenever I hear him, I say to myself that I wasn't too bad a teacher after all. I really want to thank him for capturing as impressively and sharply as he did the essence of the questions I put to the country as part of this 50th anniversary reflection. And I think that performance will bear recognition from time to time. Thank you. So, Madam Master of Ceremonies, Honorable Chief Justice, members of the Cabinet of Barbados, members of both Houses of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior public servants, heads of Barbados' missions abroad, presidents and members of diaspora-based associations and organizations, sponsors and exhibitors, representatives of the labor, the business community and civil society, especially invited guests, conference registrants, exhibitors, presenters, and moderators of various events, the youth of Barbados and of the diaspora, members of the media, fellow Barbadians and friends of Barbados, local and overseas, staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Exactly 6 years ago, I stood at this same location in the company of many of you as we launched the first Barbados Network Consultation, then known as the Diaspora Conference, under the theme, Strengthening the Bonds That Unite Us. I did so then as acting Prime Minister of Barbados, as a result of the fact that my predecessor in office, himself a child of the diaspora, and the one who conceptualized this biennial network event, was fighting a health challenge from which, unhappily, he would not survive. I've had the opportunity to address you on 2 further occasions, in 2012 when the theme was Linking Generations, Embracing Our Youth, and in 2014 on the theme, One Nation, One Family, Building Pathways to Prosperity. What I now call the David Thompson Initiative, this Barbados Network Consultation, has been thus far innovative and propelling. It has represented great foresight on the part of the late Prime Minister and has energized us as we continue to embrace our nationals abroad. It has inspired us to seek all the ways in which we can integrate our beloved Barbadians who reside overseas into the development future of our country. I'm therefore pleased to be here this morning as we further strengthen and solidify this diasporic vision. The reports that I have both read and heard over the last 6 years, together with initiatives that have been introduced and others that are in the pipeline in relation to the Barbadian diaspora, are all positive. They all lead me to conclude that we have achieved a great measure of success in our efforts to make Barbadians based abroad feel a sense of belonging and participation in all that Barbados strives to be as a nation. It seems to me that Barbados has moved from just being a geographic place to become a demographic space. In other words, Barbados is wherever Barbadians are found, wherever in the world they may be. I'm especially delighted today to have the opportunity once again to address you. in this the year of our 50th anniversary of independence, as we officially commence this fourth biennial consultation under the theme, One Nation, One Family, celebrating 50 years of independence, shaping global citizens. The diaspora community remains a critical component of the government's developmental trust for Barbados. We remain fully aware of the many ways in which you continue to contribute to the society and economy of Barbados, whether it is by building homes, by starting businesses, by investing in bonds, by remitting foreign exchange to your relatives, by promoting our niche products and our cultural offerings in your communities, by making cash and in-kind donations to some of our institutions here, or simply by encouraging investors or tourists to choose Barbados. Indeed, I sincerely thank those of you who have come to participate in the happy concurrence of the celebration of Emancipation Day, August 1st, and Kadooment Day, the highlight of October, on the first Monday in August, on the same day. In 2016, in the presence of our ancestors through the remembrance of our journey to emancipation, October celebrations this year took on a new meaning. Thank you for coming and for bringing your friends to Barbados and for helping us to host one of the most successful and memorable crossover seasons ever in this our anniversary year. This is a special year. While in the past I have focused on the activities of the government, which are intended to assure you of our continued commitment to your involvement in the development of Barbados, I will focus my remarks today on the theme before us. Now, the several 2016 crossover musical renditions that lifted up our nation, Barbados, including that of the winner of the Sweet Soca, Edwin Yearwood, with his song Home Sweet Home. The winner of the Party Monarch, Lil Rick, with his song Azerbaijan. And the winner of the Pickety Pop Finals, Aziza, with her song One Nation, One People, form a happy backdrop to my remarks today. And I encourage you to find the music on YouTube and pay special attention to the lyrics. Our theme speaks to the role of Barbados and Barbadians in the world, beyond the physical confines of this country. It recognizes that our upbringing, including the habits and values instilled in us by our ancestors, passed on through our traditions, has played a major part in forming the persons who now represent Barbados all across the world, formally and informally, and thereby in shaping the global citizens that we are as a nation and as a Barbadian diaspora. All Barbadians at home and abroad are associated with the Barbadian flag with its gold and ultramarine colors and its black broken trident, and what is represented by the elements in the flag. All Barbadians at home and abroad should be a living representation of the Barbadian motto of pride in industry, reflected in the coat of arms with our national flower, the pride of Barbados, and other symbols. All Barbadians at home and abroad are called upon to live the Barbadian pledge. I pledge allegiance to my country, Barbados, and to my flag, to uphold and defend their honor, and by my living to do credit to my nation wherever I go. Members of our Barbadian diaspora, wherever they live, must seek at all times to reflect the positive habits and values that have been traditionally associated with Barbados, among which are respect for other persons, a commitment to democracy and to the rule of law, thrift in the management of personal and economic affairs, a thirst for education and self-advancement, a sense of decency and propriety, love for family, looking after the vulnerable and poor in society, and the acknowledgement that the spiritual guidance of God is necessary to confront the challenges of everyday life. We recognize that progress and modernization have affected some of these habits and values, but for the most part, they are alive and well even today by comparison with many other countries. Wherever you live in the global village, and whatever station in life you have in your country of adoption, you are all de facto ambassadors of Barbados. I continue to encourage you to both present and represent Barbados well in the cities and countries where you reside, to maintain a good profile and energetic involvement in the communities you call home, to take an active interest in civic matters, to become informed of your rights and exercise them, where necessary, to seek advice on related matters from our missions and consulates abroad, to engage your local officials, to look out for one another and for other members of our CARICOM family. In this way, you will be able to influence outcomes in those areas of immediate interest to you in your communities. You will be able also to use your connections with private or public sector officials in your adopted country to equip you in your efforts the better to contribute to your personal development, to help others, and also to contribute to the economic and social life of Barbados. It remains my hope that all national associations abroad will see their work with nationals of Barbados in their jurisdictions as helping the latter to grow with these objectives in view as their key to the maintenance of the image of Barbados abroad. For those nationals who have resettled in Barbados, I take this opportunity to applaud the contribution that you are making in your various groups and the sense of belonging that you continue to engender. In all of these ways, you're contributing to the development and prosperity of Barbados. This year, we also have the happy coincidence that this consultation occurs in the year that Barbados is celebrating its 50th anniversary as an independent nation. At this juncture, we're just past the halfway point in our year of spirited celebration. And I must tell you that the events so far have been very impressive, very encouraging, and very well patronized. The most recent being a tribute to the 80th birthday of our sole surviving national hero, the Right Excellent Sir Garfield Sobers. I should like to thank the 50th anniversary of Independence Committee under the chairmanship of Senator the Honorable Maxine McLean, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and the 50th anniversary of Independence Secretariat under the management of Permanent Secretary Gabriel Springer, for the sterling work which they are doing to showcase Barbados in the year of our Golden Jubilee. Today, we've had a number of iconic events, and there are others to come, which are serving to reinforce our patriotism and our commitment to keep Barbados both growing and glowing. Some of the events focus on the historical road that we've traveled. Others project the leadership we've had over the past 50 years. And still others highlight the outstanding contribution made by individual Barbadians to the enrichment of our nation's story. Our aim is to inspire all Barbadians, wherever they live, to be the best that they can be. And our own Rihanna is a very good example of that. The activities will culminate with 2 days of grand celebration at the end of November. And I hope hope that many of you here today from the diaspora will make plans to join us in festive celebration of what would have been a most memorable year. I'm aware that some of the persons who would normally have come to Rock over this year are saving their visit for the climax in November. I am therefore very appreciative of the presence of the various associations and individuals from all over the world at this year's Barbados Network Consultation. I salute the heads of these associations and their members for maintaining their commitment to the success of this sustained outreach to the diaspora. I thank the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade and her staff for their unstinting and untiring efforts to ensure the success of this important event. In the midst of all these activities, the government continues to keep the ship of state steady and on a growth path in a still volatile global economic environment. The challenges of downturn and recession are being courageously and creatively navigated. Our faith in the future and in the promise of Barbados as a nation continues to flourish with undiminished vigor. Barbados, we contend, is not just an economy, but it is also a society. That perspective continues to inform our policy development focus. In this regard, the government's commitment to offering the highest standards of health and education for Barbadians remains our primary focus. Our social development programs are still the most reliable avenues through which we seek to respond to the needs of the vulnerable and the challenged. In this regard, you'll be pleased to know that we held just a few days ago a comprehensive national consultation on the society, which will be enriched by 2 further consultations before its report to the cabinet is finalized. So, as you participate in this 4th biennial consultation in the midst of the 50th anniversary of independence celebrations, I urge that you take time for deep reflection. Whatever our political, religious, or philosophical persuasions, we need collectively to determine what kind of country we want to build beyond the celebration of our Golden Jubilee. It is with this thought in mind that I've sought to challenge the nation with 3 questions. What are those things, those habits, those values that we have lost as a nation, which we need to reclaim? What are those things, those habits, those values that we have not lost as a nation and we need to retain? What are those things, those habits, those values that we have acquired as a nation but need to discard as soon as possible? I hope that these questions and your intended answers are continuing to engage your attention. As you embark on this 4th biennial consultation, I should like to remind you of some elements of the message that I delivered to the country last December when we launched the celebration of our 50th anniversary of independence. I told Barbadians back then, I quote, our size is no determinant of the kind of impact we can make on the global environment. So let us look backward. Let us look inward. Let us look forward. And let us look upward. Forgetting to look upward is to forget who has been the people's guide for the past 300 years. And the assurance that with him, still on the people's side, we can have no doubts or fears. I said also, you are citizens of a great country. We don't claim to be better than anybody else, but we claim to be as good as the best in the world. I said also that there will always be those who demand perfection from us, while themselves being incapable in their own lives and in their own spaces to be examples of perfection of any kind. Perfection is the exclusive preserve of the Almighty. None of us is expected to be perfect. But we are expected to be faithful. Faithful to the causes we consider to be important to the development of this country. And that I am able to claim Barbados has always been. Now that it is our turn to pass the baton to the next generation of young Barbadians, let us be responsible in our actions, committed to our goals, and loyal to our country. We have provided the opportunity for all Barbadians to participate in the 50th anniversary exercise by making a pledge of some kind. The Independence Secretariat has placed several pledge books at your disposal, both here and in several other locations for ease of access. Decide what your pledge will be, hopefully bearing in mind the questions that I have placed before you. Write your pledge in the book as a sign of your commitment and do your best to live up to it. Now, you heard Minister McLean outline the items that constitute the program of activities for this fourth biennial consultation. I want to join with her in urging you to make the best use of the opportunities provided. Take part in the activities, view the exhibition, ask questions of the experts, seek business opportunities, and network with your fellow nationals. I know too that the spirit of the diaspora from Panama is being well represented through the creative work of the Barbadian descendant of workers who went to Panama, Ms. Jacqueline Hines. You will see in the frangipani room some of her works depicting the Panama story. She is determined to create a living memory to those 60,000 Barbadians who went to Panama, many of whom died carrying out the daring task of the drill man, among others. She has dedicated the stage of her artistic development to promoting the Panama story, as you will see when you visit the booth assigned to her. The range of activities in the program, ranging from genealogy workshops to sessions on investing in Barbados, on philanthropy, youth interactive forum, cultural heritage, a rum cafe, and the Barbadian marketplace are exciting and will be further enhanced by your interaction with our cabinet ministers. I'm therefore very pleased to be here this morning as we continue to pursue our commitment to the inclusion of the diaspora in the development of Barbados. I should like to wish everyone a spirited engagement in this fourth biennial network consultation. And I look forward to hearing and reading the reports resulting from it as we seek individually or collectively, but certainly cooperatively, to maintain the positive reputation and profile that Barbados has shown to the international community over the last 50 years, and which we hope to maintain for the long future ahead of us. May all that we do here serve to rekindle in us that spirit of pride and industry so aptly captured in our national motto as we bring alive the theme of this fourth biennial network consultation, One Nation, One Family, celebrating 50 years of independence, shaping global citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister, for your words of encouragement and commitment and your call for renewed patriotism through the reassessment of our values. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're invited to view a presentation of the 50th anniversary song, Legends to Legacy, a composition penned and donated by Barbadian songwriter, producer and arranger John Ruitt as the official song for the island's 50th anniversary of independence. Mr. Ruitt is a veteran musician, having performed around the world with numerous artists, including legendary Caribbean groups, the Merry Men and Spice and Company, and was musical director for international reggae superstar Maxi Priest on his world tour. He has shared stages with world-famous acts such as Kenny Rogers and Bruce Hornsby, performed with superstar Caribbean singers Machel Montano, David Rudder, and Super Blue, and has acted as the musical director for leading Barbadian acts such as Rupee, Alison Hines, Bill Rick, RPB, and Gabby. Ladies and gentlemen, do enjoy Legends to Legacy.
United as a nation, blessed from above, strong to have made it this far. Unafraid of the future, surrounded by love. Proud of who we are. These fields and hills, beyond recall, they lift us up, never let us fall. We write on the pages of history, legends of legacy. We will all stand together as one. This is our land. This is our home. Gem of the Caribbean, diamond of the world, shine your light on everyone. Yeah. Our rock in the ocean, our shelter from the storm. Guide us when tomorrow comes. Under your blue sky, let the children sing. Light up their lives, teach them everything. Our road has been built for all to
Legends to Legacy. Senator the Honourable Dr. Esther Bias, who has served as Minister of Labour and Social Security since 2008, with Human Resource Development being added to her portfolio in February 2013. Notwithstanding the occasional disquiet in the labour market, Minister Bias shows great dedication in ensuring that the sector in Barbados is given satisfactory attention and that workers' rights, welfare and safety are accorded the highest priority. The designation of Minister Bias as the Deputy Chair of the 50th Anniversary of Independence Celebrations Committee, as well as her inclusion in several other committees and boards, are but a few examples of the confidence which has been reposed in her at the national level. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Senator the Honourable Dr. Esther Bias, Minister of Labour, Social Security and Human Resource Development, to move the vote of thanks. The Right Honourable Frandon Stewart, QCMP, Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honourable Sir Marston Gibson, Chief Justice of Barbados, Cabinet colleagues, members of both Houses of Parliament, members of the Judiciary, members of the Diplomatic Corps, permanent secretaries and other heads of departments, heads of Barbados's overseas missions, presidents and members of Barbadian diaspora associations and organizations, sponsors, exhibitors, and participants in the Barbados Network Consultation 2016, representatives of the business community and civil society, fellow Barbadians, good morning. It was a pleasure for me to be here this morning to participate in this opening ceremony of the 4th biennial Barbados Network Consultation. I'm very happy to see the many nationals from across the diaspora who made the effort to be here for this special occasion. It is my honor to thank those persons who had a hand in the success of this morning's opening ceremony and indeed this consultation. First of all, Minister McLean. She excited us with her review of the activities which will constitute this consultation. From all that we have heard, I believe that both our resident and overseas nationals will benefit greatly from the interaction that will take place. And I join with my colleagues in wishing you an enjoyable consultation, all of you, with many positive outcomes consistent with the theme, One Family, One Nation, celebrating 50 years of independence, shaping global citizens. An event of this nature, of course, does not just fall into the sky, and it is the result of vision, consultation, planning, cooperation, revision, and participation and support. And therefore, it is in order for us to publicly recognize those who have contributed to this outcome. I thank, of course, our Prime Minister for his timely and encouraging address. He has managed, in his usual convincing way, to reaffirm the government's commitment to integrating our overseas-based nationals and convincing them of the important part they play in our national development. Indeed, they are an important component of the national constituency and nation development. He has stirred in all of us national pride as we work to shape the future of Barbados and shape global citizens. Prime Minister, I thank you. As Minister with responsibility for the diaspora and as the chairperson of the organizing committee for this consultation, Minister McLean deserves a special commendation for her leadership of this entire effort. Those of us who work closely with Minister McLean know the passion and dedication she puts into whatever task she undertakes, and I believe that this process was no different. When you review the format and the content of the program for this consultation, you cannot help but appreciate the effort that was required, and that was indeed made. Minister, we thank you not only for your role as chairperson of the organizing committee, but also for your words of welcome this morning. I also extend these words of recognition and thanks to the entire organizing committee, consisting of senior staff members of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, representatives from several agencies from both the public and private sector, and individuals who contributed in their personal capacities. We wish to thank Mr. Charles Critchlow, a diaspora community leader from Manchester, England, for his encouraging message on behalf of the diaspora in the United Kingdom, and particularly for sharing the activities and engagement in which they are involved. It was great to hear that indeed the diaspora shares the same vision that we have for Barbados and for Barbadians. And by the way, Mr. Critchlow was selected because he was the first person to register for this consultation this year. Thank you. Of course, let me also extend thanks to Senator Durant for his inspiring prayer that got us off on the right note this morning. Thank you, Senator Durant. And now our performing artists. Barbados is, of course, replete with many talented people, and it seems that every occasion we attend, we see yet another new face or new voice. And it is so wonderful to see the talent that is emerging in Barbados. We saw fine examples of that this morning in the persons, of course, of Mr. Nathan Richards. Please congratulate him again. He's had to leave because he has yet another engagement this morning. Mr. Philip St. Hill, of course, who captured the Prime Minister's 3 questions. And the Pineman's Creative Workshop, the dancers and drummers who, by their energetic and stirring depiction of independence, have indeed inspired us to celebrate Barbados's independence, rather, in a meaningful way. Let me also include in this group for appreciation all the technical support personnel working behind the scenes, including lights, sound, decorators, and the team from Barbados Conference Services Limited. I also want to extend a special thank you to that team that went up on the roof this morning. Those of you who came early know what I'm talking about because it was quite warm as the air conditioners weren't quite working yet. So a very special thank you to all of them. I also want to single out our beloved and renowned Royal Barbados Police Force Band, which again, they have again reminded us of the high standard of instrument skills of its members and the infectious impact that its music has had on us. As Barbadians, we are really proud of this band, and we thank the Director of Music, Senior Superintendent Ellis, and his team for another solid performance. Without at this time mentioning any specific companies or individuals, I want to thank all our sponsors, Platinum, Gold, and Silver. Also those who made monetary or in-kind contribution of any kind. Please do review the list, the compiled list of sponsors at the back of your program so that you will know who these companies and individuals are who have made this event possible for all of us. Let me also thank the over 30 exhibitors who have set up booths in this facility, and I want to urge all of you this morning, participants and others, to take some time out to visit these booths and see what they have to offer. You can get information, buy product, or initiate business relationships at your convenience over the next 3 days. I especially want to thank our Master of Ceremonies for this morning, Mrs. Donna King Brathwaite, for the splendid job that she did in taking us through this ceremony. She always sets a high standard. Thank you, Mrs. King Brathwaite. I want to extend thanks and appreciation to Mr. Henderson Griffith, a networker connected to the Barbados Association of Tampa Bay, and Ms. Rosalind Seeley of the Bajans Forever Association, both in Florida, for bringing the commemorative broken trident into the room this morning. This broken trident that you see here, just a word on it, it has been making the journey across Barbados as a symbol of Barbadian pride as we celebrate our 50th anniversary of independence. This commemorative broken trident is of course embellished with blue and gold and also carries the national flower on it. This commemorative broken trident has been making the rounds across Barbados, and it is a reminder, even as it goes to every school, of our pride. And we ensure that the next generation of citizens is proud too when we take it to the schools and we tell them about Barbados and about the significance of independence. Also here, as you heard our Prime Minister mention, is the pledge book, in fact several pledge books which are located around the venue, and we encourage you to sign and enter a pledge to, in some way, by your living, do credit to your nation. As a suggestion, the theme for August is committing to Barbados, but you can pledge whatever is on your heart to do for Barbados as we celebrate our pride and industry. Before I leave the Tampa Bay Association, I also want to thank them for organizing the Bajan Night, which is to be held on Friday night at Pure Oceans at Divi Southwinds, and I want to urge all of you to be a part of that activity on Friday night. Let me now end by thanking all of you who've made it a point to be here this morning. I thank those of you who have, through great effort and some sacrifice, traveled from various countries to participate in this consultation right here at home. I know for all of you, this is still home, no matter where you do live now. And I want to add to this group all of our facilitators and other home-based Barbadians, some of whom at one point or other did live in the diaspora. I thank all of you for participating in this great event, regardless of what role you play or what contribution you make. Our network consultation is certainly off to a good start if our opening ceremony is anything to go by. As you heard Charles say this morning, but it's not just about what we do in the workshop, it is about networking outside. I understand we have a rum cafe, only in Barbados could we have a rum cafe. But please, I encourage you to make the best of all the opportunities that are presented both within the workshops and outside as we work together to shape Barbados, to make Barbados the place we want it to be for the next 50 years and beyond for future generations. I thank you. Thank you so very much, Mr. Bias. Now, a note of housekeeping. Those of you who are desirous of utilizing the complimentary culture service to the genealogy marketplace at the Archives Department, you are asked please to complete and submit the form which is enclosed in your conference package to the Secretariat by 11 o'clock today. I'm sure they'll accommodate you within the next few moments. So please do submit your forms to the Secretariat if you need to utilize the culture service. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the opening ceremony for this, the fourth biennial Barbados Network Consultation 2016. It has indeed been an honor to serve as your master of ceremonies today. I wish you a fruitful and enjoyable diaspora conference as we look ahead to an even more prosperous Barbados. As you leave the auditorium, you will be directed to refreshments which are located on the upper level of this facility. But do please allow the Prime Minister and his party to depart first. I thank you once again. Do enjoy the conference.